Malungelo Booi. He's in Mthatha, where officials have just found another body as the search for flood victims continues. The official death toll from this week's disaster now at 88 lives lost. Malungelo Booi, tell us what's unfolded over the last hour.
Hi there, Mish. In fact, now we are at Mthatha Dam, where emergency personnel as well as the police have recovered another body here at Mthatha Dam. We're told that this body was recovered about 30 minutes ago, and it's a body of a man. In fact, it's covered in a white plastic sheet. That's behind me, Mish, and emergency and rescuers are still on the scene. And we're talking to just some of them off camera, and they were saying that they found this body while doing a search here at the Mthatha Dam. What they will be doing again, Michelle, any moment from now, is that they're likely to continue with the search of the Mthatha Dam, searching for more bodies. Let me just give you a little bit of some information about the Mthatha Dam, right? It's about 38 meters deep, and the length of this dam, Michelle, is about 620 meters or so. That's what I've been picking up on the internet when I was doing a search about this dam, and it's quite a vast dam really here in the Mthatha, and this is the third body, Michelle, since my arrival here yesterday that has been found here at the Mthatha Dam. Yesterday, emergency personnel and rescuers recovered two bodies exactly not far from where this body has been found here. Two bodies. One of the bodies that I could tell yesterday was that of a child, and the other one appeared to be of an adult. And the third one that's been pulled out now here at the dam, we're told, is that of a man. But there was also yesterday afternoon, Michelle, another body that was recovered about a few meters away from where we are, just behind the Mthatha dam wall. That body was a body of a woman. We're told she was around 40 years old or so, and her body was covered in a debris, and it was under a mattress. So all in all, since my arrival here in Mthatha, I arrived here yesterday at around 11 o'clock, and we started field reporting at around 2 o'clock, and this is the fourth body that has been recovered since our time, at least my time here, and I've been able to see some of those bodies, and of course volunteers and rescuers continuing to find as many bodies as they can in order to help the families of the missing people, or of them who have missing loved ones, to essentially just find closure. Earlier on, Michelle, we were talking to some families who had joined in the searching for their loved ones. The two teenagers. I spoke to the father of one of those teenagers who came from Johannesburg to join in the search, and he's saying that he's desperate to find the body of his child, and he couldn't stay in Johannesburg any longer knowing that he's got a child that is missing, and he's saying that they're really battling to sleep at night. All they want is to be able to find the body of the child so that they can be able to give them a proper burial. We know, Michelle, as you rightfully indicated, authorities in this particular province are saying that the number of the people that have died as a result of these devastating floods has now risen to 88, and the body count, Michelle, is likely to increase.
So, Malungelo, for the families who are still searching for loved ones, as another body is recovered, I imagine these families have to go through the horror of trying to identify that person whose remains has been found, as one of their loved ones. And that's a process that they have to do over and over again until indeed they have found their people.
And that's what really, Mish, these families have been doing. They've been sifting through as many bodies as possible in order to make sure that they can, if the bodies that are found, it's not their loved ones, not. Mish, I just want to quickly bring in Ahmed Bam from Gift of the Givers. Thank you so much for your time. Please do come closer to me. Thank you so much for your time. I mean, another body has been found here. Just give me whatever information you can about this.
So, as we indicated this morning, we've got a multidisciplinary search and rescue team consisting of the South African Police Services, Department of Health and Gift of the Givers. We then said over the next 2 days we're going to intensify our searches, and we're so lucky to have also the air wing assisting us. And during the air wing, we were happened to be on the flight as well to look at the Mthatha Dam and fly into the rivers, because we recovered actually 2 bodies at the same place. Yesterday.
Yeah.
So while hovering and doing our searches, we seen that something is odd in the water, sent in our rescue diver, and he confirmed that was the 3rd body, But our other teams also are working along the Mthatha River quite intensively with the crocs, which is a boats that they use in this type of situations, along the river on both sides, combing the areas with K9s, and we're in constant communication to try and do as much as possible today.
I mean, what's the biggest challenge that you're facing at the moment?
The biggest challenge is now, as the water is rescinded along the river, you actually see the extent of damage from the air much more different. It actually gives you a whole different picture of how ferocious this flood was, really, And the damage is, it's at a huge magnitude from what we're seeing from the air. But now the challenges are, as the water comes now, rescinds, you have all of these areas where the shrubs or the branches are. You got to look into those areas, because remember yesterday, that's where we found on a higher ground one of the bodies. Here as well, what we're going to be happening is the bodies are starting to bloat and they'll start surfacing. But what we're going to do at the specific site is we're bringing a K9 now just to look, because this is the 3rd body that we've picked up here, just to make sure maybe there's additional bodies here or not.
So when the bodies start to resurface, I suppose that's a good thing in a way?
It's a good thing because it helps us then at least recover the body, and then we can take the body and hand over to forensic pathology services. Eventually, families can get closure.
One of the things, Ahmed, that I've been trying to, get my head around is the vastness of the area that you're covering. Help me understand that, because Mthatha is huge. And when I was reading up also about the Mthatha River, which you're also combing through, it's about 250 kilometers, and it stretches all the way to the Coffee Bay area.
That's so true, especially in Mthatha as well. If you look around Mthatha, the river winds, and it's got any smaller rivers that join. So it's quite hectic, because you need to look at a lot of different areas. So if I put it in simple terms, within Mthatha, it's quite wide. I mean, our teams are still basically just in Mthatha, in the outskirts, We have other teams from the Department of Health looking in the other provinces the other districts where they did have some floods. But yeah, it's quite intensified. I mean, the body that was found yesterday at, sorry if my pronunciation is not, it's Libode or something. It was, 40 kilometers away here. Flight time was quite far to get there. So it's quite intense to see how far the bodies do wash down river.
So it's possible that people may wash out as far as Libode.
It is a possibility, it is a possibility, because if you look at the force of water, it's going to carry, especially if it's a small body or so, it's going to carry them quite downriver, But yeah, once they go to forensics and they do the normal, pathology services, they'll determine basically on that. We did have another drowning that was done yesterday as well, of a 10-year-old, but that was probably the drowning, not related to the flood itself.
Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. Ahmed Bam, he is with the Gift of the Givers, Michelle, one of the non-governmental organizations that is actually assisting with the search and rescue here in Mthatha in these floods. And we've just seen forensic pathologists have also just arrived, Mish, and then that's a sign that any moment now they will take this body that's still here, covered in a white sheet, and they will take it to the mortuary, which is here in Mthatha, where I suppose the loved ones will then converge there to try and see if this person, the person here who we're told is a man, is maybe they will recognize him or not. Mish?
What an absolutely heartbreaking situation there over and over again, Malungelo. Just very quickly, do we have a sense of how many people are still missing?
Mish, at the moment it's not clear as to how many people are still missing, and officials can really not say. But when you speak to people who are doing, relatives who are doing their own searches, they will tell you that we've got a missing person. They'll then go and speak to the officials and say, I also have a person missing, can you assist? At the moment, no one can actually give us an exact figure as to the number of people that remain unaccounted for at the moment. But also, Michelle, what I think is also interesting here is that we still don't know the number of homes that have been destroyed and the estimate of that damage. And it's really not clear. And all of those, Michelle, will become clearer perhaps in the coming weeks and coming days as authorities continue really to assess the extent of the damage caused by these floods. These floods, Michelle, have not only left death, they've also left destruction.
It certainly has. Malungelo Booi live to us there in Mthatha.